Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you. Welcome to a great idea, that is Penang. Penang that is home to so many of us and home to many, many more people in the future as they find out more about it. One of the most special things about Penang is that we have a special spirit that I call the spirit of Penang. We have an amazing location. We are in an island. And one of the beautiful things about an island is that you have a 360-degree vision. You are never trapped. You can see around. And we have a mountain so that you can have a vision into eternity. This is one of the most wonderful sights for your eyes to see, that you can see far, far away into eternity. And our location, a very, very special location, is an island with South Asia, East Asia, and Southeast Asia. We are actually in the center of three of the great civilizations of Asia. And we act like a hub, which has taken the ebb and flow of these civilizations. We have been the meeting point and you can say very often the trigger of many, many beautiful things that happen in the region. Of course, our name is a little nutty. Yeah? Penang, a lot of people don't know that it's actually named after the beetle nut. The scientific name is down there, Areca cactus. Yeah? It's a very, very special tree. And of course, the beetle nut chewing was an amazing tradition at one time. You always knew about the place by the amount of red spots all around, because that was when they were spitting out. And of course, the areca nut, beetle nut, is also mildly narcotic. It makes you feel high a little bit, just like sugar and other things. That's why I think Penang people always had a little extra edge and a little spirit and always can do, yeah, in that. But one of the wonderful things about this place, which had very few people, and people just came out, and stopped there and went on, was that it became a major port in the world. One of the things that people have forgotten, for example, is that this was the place where the world's price of tin came from. The world price of tin came, and tin was so important because it revolutionized food. You had the idea of canning in the place. The world's largest tin smelters were here. So the history of tin is also the history of Penang, and of course it's been forgotten. We also was a very, very special place for people. People were just coming all over. And we had, even as early in the first 20, 30 years, like 200-300 ships coming from so many different countries. We had maybe 70 nations already coming in, staying, doing businesses. And this clock tower, the Victoria Memorial Clock Tower, symbolizes all those different kinds of ways. And we actually had a clock tower built to remember Queen Victoria's 60th anniversary. And we had different cultures marking the different levels of that particular clock tower, telling you how time in Penang was very special in that. And it's nearly accurate, just before night, that particular clock. Then of course, places. The setting of Penang itself, as I mentioned, geographically, and the different parts of the city are just remarkable. And we'll have a look at that. This was so much recognized that UNESCO made Penang a World Heritage Site. This is very rare. It puts us on the par with the pyramids, the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, all those amazing things. But we are one of the few intercultural, multicultural places in the world that has given this unique status. So we are special, we are rare, and it's this particular spirit for which UNESCO gave us this regard. And of course, one of the most wonderful things is that we are an amazingly diverse place. Now, I use very often the word, we are a multiversity. Yeah? And we have so many religions and cultures in places. It's amazing, and they're all together in many places. We have one special, unique place called the Street of Harmony, and that Jalan Masjid used to be called Pitt Street before, where you have the Goddess of Mercy, the Church of England, the mosque, a number of kongsis and temples, the Hindu temple. You can smell the joss sticks, you can hear the call to prayer, you can hear the drums, you can feel all the global civilizations next door to each other and alive. It's a street like that doesn't exist practically anywhere in the world in that kind of dynamic, active form. And a former president of India came over and he said, this street should be like a learning school about a multiversity, a place for people all over the world to know how different religions and different cultures are together. And of course, already mentioned, we are the street food capital of the world. Yeah. I mean, nobody can challenge us, and I have an index, like, you know, quality, quantity, the diversity, the taste, the cleanliness, and if you combine all those factors, there was one person from the United Nations who once came, he says, I declare this place the street food capital of the world. And we're hoping to make this even more special. So be proud of the street food. At one time, there was an economic study done. The street food community were contributing more to the economy of Penang than all the multinationals combined together. We forget that local economy is a very powerful thing because the money that's there is spent and it grows, it has a multiplier and accelerator effect. So street food is also a great economy, which is forgotten. Then of course we are also something special. We are the fish and chips capital of the world. That's also about food, but it's actually different a little bit. The fish is at the World Fish Center. This is the United Nations agency that does research on fish. They are here in Penang, just below the airport. Down, it's called the World Fish Center. And of course, chips is the electronic chip. Nearly half the world's really good quality electronic chips for all the world's computers are actually from Penang. So every time I meet friends in Penang, I said, have you been to Penang? No, I think your computer has been. Your brain, the brain of your brain may be wherever you are, but your computer's brain is most likely to have come from Penang. You would like to open up and see, and you know all the big brand names of that. And we forget sometimes because a beautiful thing like that is embedded in the computer, so you don't see Penang. You don't see Penang screaming out, in the place, but actually it's there and it's the brain. Of course, all these things happen because Penang always had the spirit of adventure, of pioneers. And a person like Francis Light, a fourth adventurer, sat down and decided that this place, together with his wonderful wife called Martina Rosales, who was so many ethnicities combined together, Thai, Malay, Chinese, European, mixed up, together. She was a Catholic, he was the Church of England, they cohabited, and they made Penang, they started Penang. That kind of spirit, we began with that kind of adventure, and of course it continued. We have a wonderful lawyer. Some of you may not have seen this monument. If you go to the courthouse, an ordinary lawyer gets a monument bigger than any that is made for any emperor or king and so on in most places. That's remarkable, isn't it? Why? Because he was a pioneer. He was a lawyer who fought for the local people. He was a lawyer who was an editor for a newspaper. He was a lawyer who fought for independence from the company to make sure that there's good governance in Penang and that there is accountability. So that lawyer, when he died, the people of Penang contributed money to make this wonderful monument opposite the courthouse junction of Green Hall. And on the four sides, there are four women, interestingly. And each one represents one particular attribute: wisdom, justice, temperance, and fortitude. The four very, very important qualities. Do visit that place.